Hi, today we're going to work with CorelDraw and work on our vector drawing with smooth curves. Now, if you ever had to trace something like this, if you're brand new at vector drawing, you might think this looks a little difficult to get these real smooth lines in here. But this is actually a pretty easy shape to draw as a vector. So let's get started, and let's begin by sort of getting familiar with curves. This is just my straight line tool. It's actually my Bezier, but I just drew some straight lines here. And if I double click my shape tool, that selects all the nodes. I can do the same thing by marquee selecting it. And as you know, these are straight lines, but I'm going to change them right up here to curved lines. And we do have a cusp node right here. Now, cusp node, if you are familiar with the different types of nodes, there's a smooth node, a cusp node, and a symmetrical node. Cusp means that either side of the node can be shaped independent of the other, like this. Okay? A smooth node, let's change it to a smooth node. A smooth node means that the line passes smoothly through the node, and when you move one side, the other side moves as well. Okay, so when I move this control arrow, you can see how it shapes both sides of the smooth curve at the same time. So just imagine a smooth curve as being this path coming right through there smoothly. It doesn't change direction at all. It comes right around. Okay, so when you draw, initially you want to use cusp curves because it's much easier to shape an object out with cusp curves. So why don't we start with this? I'm going to use that darkest orange. I'm going to draw this as three shapes, the dark orange, light orange, and the yellow. So let us, first of all, I'm going to go to my outline menu. And since I have nothing selected, this is going to be my default outline. And I think green is going to show up good against this orange. I'm going to make it fairly thick, 3 points. Ordinarily, I would just use a hairline, but since we're doing a video, I'll use a thick outline so we can see what we're doing. Right here, my Bezier tool. You can also use the pen tool, depending what you're familiar with and what you like better. Start right there on the point. I'm going to follow this curve around till it looks like it's changing direction right about there. I'm going to put another node there. And I'm going to put another node down here. You want to use as few nodes as you can for the smoothest look. Okay, right. Follow around, see where it changes direction, which is right about here. Put a node. And then put a node up here on the point. And then a node down here on that point. And finally, close the path by putting a node back up at the top. Now we have a closed path, and we're using, once again, a thick outline so you can see what we're doing. I'll double-click with my Shape tool, which selects all my nodes. Once again, I can also marquee select with my Shape tool. So, I drew this with straight lines, but we want these to be curved lines. So I'm going to go up here to my curve, see on my menu here. So now these are curved lines. They still appear straight because we haven't done anything with them. But now when you click on the node, you can see that it produces these arrows, control arrows. I'm going to do one thing here with my bitmap. I'm going to go to Arrange Lock Object. And that'll keep my bitmap from moving and also keep me from selecting it with my pick tool. Alright, so once again, select, double click, shape, and now these are curved lines because I changed them up here, and these are all cusp nodes, which will make it easy for me to shape out. So let's start with this curve here. I'll just grab this line with my left mouse button. I'm going to drag it right into position like that. Okay, so you can see how drawing these smooth curves is quite easy. Just drag it right into position, just like that. Now you might find that it's a little sharp. See here, I can't quite get that curve. If that's the case, I'm going to select this node here. And that'll produce my two control arrows. So if I can't quite get this curve by dragging it in the middle, I can take my arrow and finish that off the way I like. Okay, and these are cusps, so I can move one side without affecting the other. Okay, so drag that into position right there. Okay, once we get it roughed out, we want to change some of these to smooth curves. Obviously, that's going to be a cusp, that's a cusp, that's a cusp, but this one here, that wants to be a smooth curve. So I can change it by selecting the node and clicking my C key, or I can go up here to my menu, Cusp, Smooth, and Symmetrical. We won't worry about symmetrical right now, but as you can imagine, that produces a symmetrical curve, so we don't need that for this drawing. This also would like to be a smooth curve. One thing I've found is before you convert it to a smooth curve, try and get your arrows, your control arrows, to be fairly opposite of each other. See, so it's already looking like a smooth curve. Now when I convert it, it won't change much. Okay, so this time I'm going to convert it to a smooth curve by going up to my menu. Remember, I can click my C key, or I can go up here to my menu, click Smooth. Okay, once it's a smooth curve, you can see I'm kind of getting out here. I want to reshape it. And then when I get it to look pretty close to what I want, I'm going to give it a fill. Now this is orange, so if I give it a light green fill, that'll show up pretty good. I'm going to get rid of my outline by right-clicking up here on my No Outline. And now it's just a solid vector shape, and it's green. The reason I made it green is because now I'm going to give it a transparency so I can see through it and finish shaping out my curve. So transparent, this little wine glass over here. Up here, uniform. Now I can see my vector shape and my raster object that I'm tracing. Up here I can adjust the amount of transparency. So I'm going to darken that up a little bit so I can see my green. Now I can see the areas where I need to work on. So I'll go to my shape tool, and I'm going to shape this out. That already looks pretty good. Use my smooth node. Now once again, this node, when I pull that arrow, this arrow is going to also move because it's a smooth curve. So I just play with my control arrows till I get it to look the way I want. I'm going to say that's pretty good right there. So I'm going to leave it at that. But for the video, I'm going to say that's good enough. Alright, now to get rid of this, I'm just going to click my Control key and page down. And it looks like it disappeared, but it's actually behind my raster image. So it's back there. We just won't worry about it for now. Because now we want to do that second shape, and I'm going to do that a little faster now that we know what we're doing. Okay, once again, follow this curve around until it looks like it's changing direction. Right there. right there, right here. It looks like it's changing directions. I'll put a node there. And of course, on the points, we want a node. Bing, bing. Double click. That selects all my nodes. Go up here, change that to curved lines. It's a cusp node on each one, so I can easily shape it out, just like I did before. And this time I'm going to go a little faster because we don't want to make too long of a video. You might switch over and watch something else. We don't want that. So just shape this out. Give that a little bit of a curve, just a little bit. There we go. Okay, now, once again, these are going to want to be smooth curves, and once again, I want my control arrows facing opposite of one another before I convert it to a curve. So down here, that wants to be a smooth curve. I'm going to click my C key, which changes it to a smooth curve. I could have done the same thing with my menu. Okay, same thing here. Smooth curve, and once again I'll give it a fill, get rid of my outline, give it a transparency with my wine glass here on my menu, uniform transparency, darken it up a bit, and now I can shape this out accurately by my control arrows, like this. Right there, and I'm going to save for the video. That's going to be good enough. And once again, I'm going to send it behind by clicking C, page down. Just for a minute, let's unlock our raster. Unlock all objects under Arrange here, and let's delete it. You can see these two objects that I drew. They were hiding behind the raster. We just wanted them out of the way for the time being. Okay, so I'm going to go Control Z, which my undo, which brings back my raster, and I'll lock it in place again. Arrange lock object, because I have one more to draw, this yellow one in the middle. Go up to my Bezier tool and just draw one node there. Follow this till it looks like it's changing direction right about there. Click here, there. Do that in one right there. It's going to want to have a node here. And then one here. Bing, bing. Probably put a node there. Once again, use as few nodes as you can, because the more nodes that are in there, the less smooth your drawing is going to look. All right, double click, select all my nodes, come up here to my menu, convert line to curve, and just like before, we'll shape it out, just like that. Give that a little bit of a curve right there. Right there. We're going quick because we don't want to make too long of a video. When you're doing this for a customer, you probably want to take your time and do a real nice job. Okay? Give it a little bit of a curve here and a little bit of a curve here. Right there. Now, once again, give it a fill. Get rid of the outline, turn it transparent with my wine glass here, uniform, darken that up just a bit, and shape it out. Right here, move your nodes as necessary. Remember, this is still a cusp. None of these are smooth yet, so I can shape it out very easily. And now I'm going to convert this to a smooth after I get my control arrows opposite of one another. Click my C key, that's a smooth node now. And this one down here also wants to be a smooth node. Where are you? There, it's hard to see. Smooth. and shape it out. Move the node if it's necessary. I'm not going to work real hard on this. You can see this one is needs a little more work if I wanted it to be perfect. Here is a smooth node. This is a cusp. I'm going to change it to a smooth node right there. Alright. Now, I will bring back my vector shapes that are hiding in the back by using my Alt key, which is your dig tool. If you hold down Alt and click, it will select each object that's underneath the one that was selected last. So now my raster's selected, that's locked. Click it again, and that's going to select my vector that's hiding in the back. So I'm going to click Control, page up, and that brings that up there. And I'm going to click Alt again, see if I can find that vector back there. I think I found it. I'm going to click Control, page up, that brings it up. Now these are all green, so let's change them to the actual colors we want to use. The middle one's yellow. This one, remember these are all still transparent, so we're going to fix that in a minute. This kind of light orange, I guess there for that center one. And then this big one is a dark orange. If you don't have the right color on your palette, go ahead and go to your palette editor, which is up here. Tools, palette editor, and you can create a new color. I'm using CMYK, so that's easy. You know, I can just make whatever color I want, add it to my palette. In this case, I'm not going to do that because it looks okay the way it is. All right, now let's get rid of our raster. Where is it? Arrange, unlock object. Remember that was locked in place. Now I can move it out here and see what I've done. Get that back into frame. Let's get both of these sort of in the middle here. And if you recall, these are all transparent, so I'm going to select all of them. Go up here to my wine glass, transparency, none, and that makes them solid. And now it's time to sort of eyeball the original and what I've done. I can see a few places I'd like to fix. This middle one here, I'd kind of like to get that node out there a little bit. Make sure all the ones that are smooth are smooth. I think I'm not going to work on this real hard because you sort of get the gist. You can work on this for as long as you want. Sometimes you can eliminate nodes. In this case, I'm not going to be able to because it's too sharp. But oftentimes when you do like an S curve like this, you'll find that it's graceful enough that you can eliminate that middle node and still work it. I'll show you what I mean. Let's say we have a line like this, here, here, and we want to do an S curve. So we'll move this out here, move this out here, and it's kind of graceful. We'll make this smooth, and now we have our S curve. But you will find that if it's a curve like this, you can actually eliminate that center node and still get the same shape just with the nodes on the end. And what that does is gives it a much more graceful, smooth look, because it's not, no matter how hard you try, that node always gives it just a little bit of a, what am I trying to say? You can sort of see where it is. Sometimes you might move a node, like this one might actually want to be a little farther down, so I'm going to put a new node there and delete that old one. and that shouldn't change the shape too much. So I'm done with this for the purpose of the video. So now you can see how you draw smooth versus cusp nodes, how you shape out a line, how you change the cusp nodes to smooth nodes if necessary, and how you shape it out using smaller and smaller corrections until you get it exactly the way you want. So that's how you work with curves. Now that you know that, you'll be far less intimidated when you get a design like this. It's quite easy to draw, and practice with that. And I hope your next project goes well.